Hey, it's Coach Cheese here. Like I said to all my friends that I was going to start doing posts about things I really do like. I'm very happy to say that within 24 hours, I will be seeing Jay Z, my favorite rapper all time. And I think since I just bought these tickets, why not talk about Jay Z? So it's kind of surprising that Jay Z is famous as he is. Like I'm a Jay Z fan from way back in the day. Um, I'm not talking about when he had the flat top with Jazzo, because to be honest with you, no one was really a fan of that fast rapping Jay Z. I'm talking about more like in my lifetime, the single, not the albums. I really that particular song is probably one of my top 25 songs. Period. What surprised me so much about Jay Z's success is that he had a couple of false starts, like I said, with the rapping fast, a single that was not on the album. He was hanging around with the Notorious B.I.G. a little bit too much, and I felt that at least on the West Coast, he kind of looked almost like a bad boy artist, but like wasn't. I don't think he translated well what he was trying to convey on the West Coast. So, we want you to understand if you hadn't grown up in the 80s and 90s when it comes to rap music, you gotta understand this. 90s rap music was really about listening to it in groups, driving around, having it as background music. East Coast rap music was very much about isolation, having your headphones on, listening intently to what the songs or what was being said in the songs. So a lot of my friends and family think I just have all these wild adventures each and every day. That's not really the case. Even though I'm a world traveler, I've done a whole bunch of things. There's a lot of times I'm just sitting in a room by myself, and so because of that, I've kind of leaned towards more East Coast rap for what I like, even though, born and raised in California, live in LA, live in San Francisco, live back in LA, and is in Los Angeles currently. I think like Jay Z's biggest problem in the early times is that he was way too innuendo heavy. And one of his proteges, or signed artists, I should say, Beanie Siegel, years back came up with the idea that or he said that reason about was going over people's heads because Jay Z was talking about a drug game way higher than anyone else was. 90s rap is a lot of beating people up, for being sucker MCs in sewers or warehouses, or it was about the tragedies of the low level drug game, going in and out of jail, stuff like that. Jay Z was talking about having enough money to buy yachts and rent jets and stuff like that. This was just on something else. And I don't think the people at the time would really like be able to relate to that. 2000s rap, everyone became like a drug lord. And so retroactively, Reasonable Doubt somehow became this classic, which when it was out in the 90s, it was considered a good album, but it was nothing of legendary status at that point. And I remember this. One second, I have a lot of things to say, so we gotta take some notes. My neck's messing up right now. So the reason I really got into Jay Z was this. I lived in this international group home for girls, and one of the girls was from New York. Her name was Chantel, and she got me into the Wu Tang Clan, which I was very resistant to at the time. I was still, West Coast guy, listening to Rap Forte, Too Short, Snoop Dogg. Didn't really understand the Wu Tang Clan initially, but once I did, I fell in love with them. One of they had the first album, 36 Chambers, classic, and they had a number of solo albums before Wu Tang Forever. One of those solo albums was from this artist named the GZA, who had an album called Liquid Swords, which is my favorite rap album of all time. But one thing that rap album did, what Liquid Swords did for me, was tell me that I need to be smarter. I felt like my knowledge was not enough after listening to Liquid Swords. Reasonable Doubt was an okay album. Like me and my friends were the only guys in this high school that give a fuck about Jay-Z, and we only kind of did at the time. I didn't understand what this guy was talking about. Up until one time I was at a party or a get-together or something, and someone was playing Reasonable Doubt, and this guy who was there was part of the drug game, and he kind of broke it down to what Jay-Z was talking about. And so I felt smarter liking Jay-Z. And maybe that's the reason I kind of stayed attached to him in terms of him being like my favorite rapper. Jay-Z in a lot of ways doesn't want you to know everything that he's saying. And if you listen to his latest album, 444, it has the, it's a sonically pleasing album, and it has a lot of good content in it that I think everyone should listen to. But at the same time, unless you're a hardcore Jay-Z fan or you keep with all the online interviews, it's kind of hard to pin down what he's talking about. And once again, there's not like a whole lot of dance songs on it or anything like that. But Jay-Z at his age shouldn't be singing anything like that. Sorry, my neck is really messing up right now. There we go. If there's any rapper, because a lot of rappers base themselves around like personality, how much swag they got. Rappers like Lil Wayne, Jim Jones. Jay-Z was always like, smack. Jay-Z was always like Patrick Bateman in the book, in the movie American Psycho. So, the character Patrick Bateman spends a lot of time talking about what he has and how chilling his murders can be. The movie's a little bit tame. Jay-Z is just kind of like that. His entire MO was especially in his earlier work, was very much about what he obtained. He's like, oh yeah, we have jets, other luxuries that most rappers weren't even imagining. And his hard verses, if you listen to like Pre-Game with Sauce Money or Blackout with DMX and the Locks, it's a little more chilling rather than all aggressive like Master P or Tupac or DMX was. It's a very different form of intimidation. And one second here. CDs. Yeah, so if you're looking to get into Jay-Z, I would suggest you listen to Volume 3, The Lifetime of Sean Carter. It really shows the entire gambit of Jay-Z's like musical abilities. 444, reason about a little bit too innuendo heavy, but that's probably why I like it anyway, because I feel like I have inside information. But I would not recommend that for anyone who's like wanting to get into Jay-Z like right now. Another good album to get into would be the first Blueprint and Volume 2, Heart Not Life. Alright guys, so I'm going to get another video on how Jay-Z and his wife Beyonce kind of changed my sexuality. Alright, take care.